It really irritates me because I really don't believe in censorship. The best thing about OTT platforms was that there was no censorship. And now that is changing. And today I'm 42 and I want to keep doing roles. When I'm 52 and 62, I want to keep working and, playing characters of my age. I feel it's a privilege, the experience I have, I feel more confident, more experienced, wiser, more attractive than I did at 25 for sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rudrani, and welcome to Speak Easy. I have a very talented actor with us today who makes sure her work goes beyond what she's doing and excels every time she comes on screen. I'm talking about the very talented Konkona Sen Sharma. Thank you for joining in.
Thanks, Rudrani.
Every time someone talks to you, they definitely talk about, oh my God, look at your body of work, look at this. And I know you try to not think about all of that because as an actor, you just want to continue looking at what's ahead of you. But do you really feel that kind of affects you adversely at times? Adversely in the sense, like, besides making you awkward, do you think sometimes it gets like a little tense?
No, I mean, it does make me a little awkward, that's true. But beyond that, no, not really. I actually don't pay too much attention. People are very nice. People are very kind. They all say very nice things. Very rarely do people give me very honest feedback. So, and it's okay. I mean, it's not like I need to know everybody's opinion. Everybody's free to think whatever they want to think. My own opinion matters a lot to me, what I think about something. Or I have a trusted circle. My mother or, a few trusted friends whose opinion I seek. And beyond that, I try not to pay too much attention to too much praise or too much criticism.
Which is a good way to look at things.
Best, what to do.
For an actor like you, who always makes sure that she is pushing herself a little more when she's choosing her projects or whenever you have any kind of collaboration, does it bother you with the kind of rules and regulations that people are putting in nowadays when it comes to digital mandates, when it comes to how shows should be like? And as an artist, how does that affect you?
It really irritates me because I really don't believe in censorship. The best thing about OTT platforms was that there was no censorship. And now that is changing. I think we had such diverse content because we've not had censorship, and look at it. We are we vote for our leaders. We vote at 18, right? And why can't we choose our own content? That is something which really bothers me because I don't believe in having these kind of restrictions. I think that free speech is very important.
As an artist, and I know you're pretty brave, not just in the choices that you make. Otherwise, does it sometimes though bother you or the people around you when you speak your mind? Does it scare them, if not you?
I hardly speak my mind as much as I could. I don't feel I'm very brave. I feel like a coward on most deals.
I was fascinated by the entire concept of Mumbai Diaries 2611. There have been so many versions of retelling of the most horrifying events that every person in this country probably has their own memories associated. But I find this retelling very fascinating is because I never thought that it would be told from the perspective of the people who are also saving lives were yet not given that attention. But did you find this take something that we would have never thought would have come out?
I think that it's really sad that we need something like a COVID or a pandemic for us to truly appreciate the frontline workers that we have.
Yeah.
And that is true for everyone, including myself. Because we've all been through this 2611 experience. It's in a part of our collective consciousness. We know what happened. We know the outcome. We are aware, we have lived through it. We've spoken to people who've been through these experiences. We've heard countless retellings. But we never saw it from the point of view of the medical community. We've never really seen it from that perspective. And it is not an easy job at all to be a first responder in any situation, whether, it's the cops, whether it's the fire brigade, whether it's the doctors, the paramedics. It's not an easy job. And they also have their personal lives. They also have their own issues. They're sometimes in our show, they're working in a government hospital, which has its own limitations, of course, even in a big city like Mumbai. So I really like the fact that the entire setting is within a government hospital. Of course, we do cut to the hotel as well. We do show that. We do show the different worlds that collide, the patients who come there, the doctors, the nurses, the ward boys, the administrative staff, the media who's covering it. the police officers who have come in, but it is a hospital under siege. It's something we've not seen before. Actually, medical dramas is something we don't really make. I don't think I can recall medical dramas in India as such. So it was a very new, fresh perspective for me. I really enjoyed, working, in this kind of a setup and learning more about, this kind of a context. And I hope that, that after COVID especially, we will have a newfound appreciation and respect for our frontline workers. This is really a tribute to them. This is a fictionalized account of 26/11.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not documentary, so it's not exactly analyzing and taking those events apart and, all of that. It is a fictionalized account. We did do a fair amount of research. I would say that Nikhil and his team did a lot of extensive research, which they shared with us. They have, I think, sometimes you have to do, so I'm not playing any real person. Mine is a fictitious character as well. I'm playing Chitra Das, and she's the social services director in this government hospital. She's not from a medical background. She has a medical background, but she's not a doctor. She's not a doctor, but you know what happens in times of crisis? I mean, everybody goes outside the line of duty, and everybody is, doing things outside necessarily what they are trained to do, which also happens here. One doesn't always have to do the research for every single role. More or less, I've seen that, when I'm playing a character who's very removed from me, whose reality is very removed from me, geographically, culturally, economically, socially, then you have to do a lot of research. For example, in Omkara, where I'm playing a rural woman who speaks in a UP dialect, then you may need to do a lot more research. But here what happens is, Chitra Das is not that removed from me. So in that sense, I didn't have to do a lot of research just for her character. Also, it's not a character drama,
Sure.
So that's not the genre. But I think to a certain extent, we all had to, seem, adept at, working in a hospital. So what Nikhil and his team had organized is a medical workshop for all of us. He had, which was a wonderful thing because, all of us are actors, but none of us are doctors. So it was a great leveler, and it was an even playing field. So even though some of us are established and some of us are upcoming in terms of the, artists, we all had to learn something new. We all had to do this medical workshop, and there we met Dr. Sheikh, who trained us, and he was somebody who was actually personally on ground during 26/11. So he shared his stories, he told us, and he was also teaching us things like, how to do sutures, the medical jargon, how to hold the equipment and all of that. And that was a part of our prep and part of our research, other than table reads and rehearsals and all of that. And that, I think, really helped us. And it was a fun thing to do. It was a great bonding for all, this group of actors, this motley group of actors, to all get to know each other as well. So it's a lot of our research was based, around things like that.
But that sounds a lot of fun. It must have been.
Was.
In the Hindi film industry, I think female actors specifically have to always face ageism after a point. I loved how you responded to a fan of yours recently, where the fan mentioned that, oh, you've aged and you deserve so much more. I want to see so much more of you, but it's sad you've become old. And you responded saying, why are you sad? I'm happy with the fact that aging. That also reminded me of how people look at you. They think like, oh, you aged, so now you will never be given those particular roles. You're an actor, and this is an assumption made by the common people who are also watching you, which is what he or she, what they wrote to you as well. It's an interesting thing. What have you observed? Have you seen things change around you? You have never let that come in the way of what you've chosen, but I'm sure it wasn't easy. So I want to know a little on that.
I have to say that I don't usually respond to comments and what people say on Twitter, especially, or even on Instagram. I don't usually. This person had said it so nicely, and he said that I'm such a big fan and all, and I've watched your films, and I'm so sad that you're aging. And a lot of people feel like this. So I wanted to reach out and speak to him and say that don't be sad, because would you rather that I died tragically young? So that I truly believe that, and I feel it's important for us to say that, I'm 42 years old, and I am, at least so far, who knows what will happen down the line, but I'm comfortable, and I feel it's important for me to say that, because who really benefits? Who benefits from us feeling bad about ourselves, that, oh, I have to look perpetually young, I have to look perpetually attractive? It's only the beauty industry, and they're already making a lot of money, So and today I'm 42, and I want to keep doing roles. When I'm 52 and 62, I want to keep working and playing characters of my age. I feel it's a privilege. The experience I have, I feel more confident, more experienced, wiser, more attractive than I did at 25 for sure.
High five on that. I completely agree with you on that. I'm going to end it by saying that, I remember we discussed about how we need to have more female bonding movies. You've been a part of few, from Dolly Kitty to Lipstick Under Burqa, and we've always said that it's so much fun letting women just be. And for
Thanks
a change,
to Alamkrita Srivastava who makes these films, not too many people do.
Yeah, of course. And we'd like to see more of them. And, when Farhan announced this really good film with Katrina, Alia,
Priyanka.
and Priyanka, the first person I thought of was of you and our conversation, that, we need to have more of that. I want to know your thoughts on that. And do you really feel we're heading in a direction where we don't have that bar anymore? And Kita has been doing it for a while, but putting it out there, giving that kind of scale, that kind of money, and not saying that, there are women, they won't work, and all of that. Do you think we are now finally heading towards that direction?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm really glad that they're making a film like this, which is about female bonding and women going on a road trip, etc. But whether it's going to really have an impact on, the bulk of films or how much we'll be seeing women's lives in an authentic fashion, I really don't know. That remains to be seen. And how audiences also accept it and how they react to it as well. But maybe we are taking some steps in that direction. It's always been there, It's not like it's not it's always been there, but few and far between. There are always, every year there are some roles, there are some films which address these kinds of things, which, but it doesn't reflect on the bulk of the
exactly
content.
So here's hoping to so many more, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you, Konkona. All the very best. I'm very excited about Mumbai Diaries 2611. I love the trailer.
Thank you
and
so much.
Looking forward to seeing so much more of you.
Thanks, Rudrani.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye-bye.